Just two books left for me to read in Malazan Book of the Fallen. These are the questions I have after reading Toll the Hounds that I really hope get answered. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things we enjoy. Today, just Jim here, the father. My quick take episode talking about my thoughts after reading Book 8, Toll the Hounds of Malazan Book of the Fallen, and about to dive into the last two books. This is a full spoiler type of episode, sort of. I don't know anything about the other two books, and I don't want to until I read them, but everything before then, I'm talking freely, so if you have not read at least through Book 8, this is not the episode for you. The rest of you, you're probably going to enjoy this. I mean, heck, I've enjoyed reading Malazan so far. It's been terrific. And you guys out there who already know what's still coming for me, yeah, well, you might enjoy my thoughts because I've got these two books left. I know there's a lot more to read in the Malazan world, but these are the two final books of the main storyline. And many of you have already told me that they're really just one massively huge book. So I do intend to dive in to book 9 and go right into book 10. Going into them, so many questions. Can they all truly be answered? I mean, this is a lot of content that's going to be here, but probably not. There's no way. But all of you Malazan fans, you've been enjoying my journey. I thought you might enjoy hearing the things in my head as I prepare to go into the big finish. So let's dive in. Number 1. Why did Animander Rake have to die there near the end of Toll the Hounds? I mean, was that the only way the curse of Dragnipur could be ended? And of course, it needed to be ended so Mother Dark could be released. I get that now, but did he have to die? And did he really die? I mean, where is his spirit? Where is Animander Rake now? I think because Mother Dark has been released now, the dead Tistiandi that have been kind of trapped in some no man's land, limbo, non-existence, they all get to pass on now. Does that mean Rake has passed on to somewhere else or been taken home into Mother Dark? I don't know. I kind of figured he's an ascended being and maybe he's ascending a little further, but the information isn't there yet. Because, okay, all that occurred here at the end of Toll the Hounds, it was clearly by design. I get that. Rake was in on it. It's a plan. Hood was in on it. Shadowthrone and Cotillion, they were in on it. Hood did seem to want to back out at the last minute, but Rake didn't give him a chance. Off with your head! Even poor Dasim Ultur seems to have been begrudgingly drafted, so he was in on it as he goes and confronts Rake. And he's in on it in a way where whatever Cotillion said to him, he knew he needed to go through with it. He didn't want to, and you can see the impact on him afterwards. He does not like that he had to do that, but he understood the plan, apparently. He had to follow through. So what was really going on there? I don't think I have enough yet. What are the further ramifications to come from what just happened there? And again, where is Animander Rake? Those are all the things I just had for number 1. Number 2, what will Karsa Orlong's role be as we approach the end? He's clearly been growing as a person. He's come so far since we first met him. He was naive, young, stupid in the beginning. That's not Orlong anymore. His thoughts on world domination, for example, have definitely shifted. I'm not sure they shifted just in that he doesn't want to do it. It's more what would be the point of doing it. It's got a little fatalistic, I think, here. He was also clearly in an earlier book selected to be an instrument of the crippled god, and he wants nothing to do with that and has continued to, flip off the crippled god and do his own thing, but he's still going to have a role to play. I am confident of this. A big role is my guess, but I don't have a clue what that role will be. Number three, speaking of not having a clue, one of the through point plots of the series, through most of the books, was something to do with that amnesiac, the Jag, Akarium. Now, he went out with a bang at the end of Reaper's Gale, using the machinery that I believe was his in the first place that he'd forgotten about, and he's able to bring it back to life, and then he goes somewhere while wreaking mass destruction on the site. Just what was that really all about? Where has he gone? What is he doing? What role does Akarium still have to play? And why, oh, why are so many people absolutely terrified over what he might do? I mean, is it just because he can wreak destruction for his own means? I suppose that could be enough, but it seems even more than that. Like they're even more terrified of him. I need to know more. Number four, the Tisti Leosin. You know, the Tisti Light? They've only had a few mysterious appearances in the series so far. Is that all we're going to get? Or will they be back? Will they have a part to play in the last part of the story? Because if not, that's really kind of weak. We had the Tisti Andi, who are the dark ones, the ones of night, the Tisti Adur, who are the gray ones, and we have the Tisti Leosin, the light. Is it just because we needed light, so we threw them in a few times? Come on, there's definitely got to be more. And if there is more for them here in the end, does that mean there's also more for the Adur and the Andi? Do they all have major roles to play? Do they all get involved in the grand conclusion? I want to know. Number five, remember Silver Fox? Her and the Talanamas? We've had nothing on them for a while. Now, partly by design. They went off to deal with something. They didn't explain themselves, but there was something they needed to take care of. Okay, they're off taking care of it. Are they going to come back? Will they come into play here in the end? Or is what they're off doing being saved for other books that Erickson went on to write? Because I know there are more Malazan books out here. I'm wondering. Number six, the Perrin siblings, Ganos and Tavor. Surely they both still have roles to play. When I think of these two, I kind of feel like Erickson maybe wrote too big a story. Such significant players as Ganos and Tavor, and they've just been gone for big chunks of time. There's not enough screen time to give to everybody, and especially Ganos just kind of drop off. What is he doing? Where is he at? He's up to something. Or is this all going to come into play as we move into books 9 and 10 in big, massive payoff ways? I'd be good with that. I am wanting to know. Tavor, know a little bit more. I mean, she's been busy over in Lether with the splinter Malazan army, who maybe is now the core Malazan army since the Empress is dead. We'll see. Number 7. Everything's about the end game. Who's going to get involved as we get to the end game? So, as we think of the end game, just what is Shadow Throne and Cotillion actually up to? They're scheming at something, and I feel like it's aimed at the big game, the ending, the stakes that are world altering. And I want to feel like it's not just the two of them manipulating everything. We saw they were in cahoots with Rake and Hood. They can work with others. They may not show all their cards, but there's something building up here that these two are clearly behind. Not that they're causing it, but that they see it coming. They saw it before others, and they've made moves, and they've put things in position, players in position, themselves in position to be able to make a final move, solve the problem, save the day, save themselves. I don't know, but something's up here, and I want to find out what. And this end game thing, you know, it involves the crippled god in some way, but who else? Does it involve the other gods? Does it involve the elder gods? Are other ascended involved? How deep is, I mean, Burn is clearly involved. How much? That's what I want to know. Number 8, I mentioned the crippled god. There are definitely connections, the crippled god, with various players in here, but one of those players, Calor, can someone please just kill him now? Please. I am tired of this schmuck. Nah, okay, not really. He's a very interesting character, but he's so bad. He's got this pact with the crippled god. Now, it's a very self-serving pact for Calor. He does not care about the crippled god, but he's accessed the crippled god's power in the past. He's kind of got an on-again, off-again deal, I think. It's on whenever it serves his purpose. It's off when there's nothing that'll work for Calor. But if they don't get rid of him, you know he's just going to be ready to turn on people again. It'll be Whiskey Jack all over. Calor's got that. I'm here to help until I'm not. And then the rest of you can be darned. He's got to go. Number 9, speaking of going, where will the bridge burners and the bone hunters go in this fray here of an epic ending? I mean, we've got some of them that are dead. We know that, but that doesn't necessarily mean dead. I think some of them may have finally moved on, but others, are just in an ascended state. And at least one of them, Hedge, apparently is alive again. So reversal is possible. There's more of them that ought to come back. I mean, we just lost some that hadn't died in the first place. It seems very weebly wobbly which way they can go regarding Hood's Gate, but I'm not sure I can call it Hood's Gate anymore either, because Hood isn't Hood anymore. That's a mess. But I don't want to get into that one. I just want to know, the bridge burners, how are they going to get involved? The bone hunters, most of them are still out there now. They're with Tavor. What role will they play? And of course, there's some bleed over. Fiddler, a bridge burner, is also a bone hunter. I think there's a few more there. Quick Ben, the Malazan Marines are going to have a big role to play of some sort. They've done it time and again. There's no way the final 2 books don't come off big without involving the Malazan Marines. I just have no idea in what way, because with the kind of powers involved, they're mostly outclassed, except for the ascended ones, the bridge burners. They really have some chutzpah they can bring, and that's a little different than the average mortal. We'll see. I'm interested. Speaking of beings who have a little more to bring to bear, let's not forget about the Crimson Guard. They didn't return for no reason narratively, did they? I mean, surely some of them, at least the good ones, are going to show up to play a role in resolving things for the good of the world. Of course, the bad ones, Skinner, anyone, may just as easily show up on the side of the crippled god. We've had no inklings of that so far that I can discern. If I do a reread, maybe it's all there already, because clearly they were gone more corrupt. I mean, Skinner had always been a little off, but he's clearly evil now. That's got to be a crippled god thing. So are we going to see the Crimson Guard showing up on both sides of the battle? Oh, and you know what? When we talk about other entities and agencies showing up, we've got that whole additional empire, Lether, that still could participate in the end of the story. There's no reason they wouldn't if it's world-ending stakes at stake. And there are some great characters over there. I mean, Emperor T-Hole? Come on! I want to see these guys get involved. We did not get enough of them, and there's no reason they can't. And still, there are so many other things I could have brought up in this episode. So many hanging plots that may or may not have payoffs in books 9 and 10. I'm expecting to be wowed, to be awed, perhaps to be a little dumbstruck. From all I've read so far, and everything that people have implied, I don't think I can really build these 2 books up too greatly. It's just a matter of which things do get resolved and which things are fodder for more books down the road. I think that's where I'm going to be left to wonder. So there you go. You got a great taste of what's spinning around in my mind as I prepare to descend back into Malazan Book of the Fallen. I've got just 25% to go on a short book I'm reading right now, and then Dust of Dreams. That's queued up next. So soon. Let me know if you have thoughts about what I've said here today down in the comments, particularly if I left out any of your favorite characters or plot points that you're like, Jim, you should be thinking about these still. You want to mention them, go ahead. But don't spoil anything from 9 and 10. That would just be naughty. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.